And Joshua Simmons, here. You could tell Dan and Diane apart, but I think you can tell Lou and Joshua apart. And they've already drawn for position, so Joshua is going to get to do his opening statement first. Go to it. And you want to use that one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joshua Simmons. I'm running for Coral Springs City Commission Seat 4. And before I begin, I want to say thank you to the League of Women Voters for putting on this event today. As you know, voter education is something we need dearly in today's age. I also want to thank you all for being here today, using your Saturday to spend your time with us and listen to our visions for Coral Springs. I am running for Coral Springs City Commission because I believe that we need to improve our infrastructure, we need to repair our relationship with our small business community, but we also need to have an effective and decisive commission. All right, we need commissioners that really care about the job as well as the residents here in this city. We need to make sure we have commissioners that want to help this city find its new path forward here in 2018. I'm a teacher at Coral Springs High School. I teach 12th grade government and economics and 10th grade modern world history. I am here because I care about all of you, and when I moved here with my sister in 2011 as a legal guardian of a 13-year-old at 22 years old, you all took care of me and my family, and so I want to give back to you all. And I decided to run after I went through empty nest syndrome at 27 years old because, like I said, I really wanted to give back. My mom is in the United States Navy. That's why I had to take care of my sister, and she always raised me to do the most good. And so I thank you all for having me here today, and I hope you guys hear what you need to hear today.
If you want to come here, yeah. All the questions you can sit, but right now we want you to go.
Good afternoon, everyone. He's not saying boo, he's saying boo. We gotta refine that a little bit. First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out today. Saturday afternoon, you could be going out doing some nice things, but you're here because you're interested in what's happening. 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, I decided to get involved in politics. Never was involved with politics in my life. I've been in Broward County since '56, in the '60s, the '70s, and the '80s. I lived in Hollywood, lived in Davie, moved here in '92. We helped build the city. My family's in construction. We helped build the city when we lived in Davie. We'd come up here. And I've been involved with community projects, working with kids, working with the hospital, working with wheelchair programs, the Knights of Columbus. The stories go on and on. But for the last 4 years, being able to serve this community has been the biggest honor of my life. And I can tell you this, every single vote that we have taken, before I vote yes or no, I listen to all the story that comes across us, and before I vote, I always vote. Even if I don't agree with it, if it's for the good of the city, I vote yes. So, oh, sorry. I forgot to look at the stop sign. Anyway, I'm running for re-election. I have the honor to work with you for the next 4 years. Thanks.
Thank you. That's all right. That's all I have. Okay, now we get to some questions. And the first question will go to Lou, but I'll give you a chance to say, okay. Florida is an especially environmentally sensitive area, yet many people do not recycle, and most businesses do not recycle. So what do you think the city should do to increase recycling to businesses?
We are in the process now. We're working with some recycling companies right now. The easy part would be to send all our recyclables to another city and have them take care of it, but we can't do that. That was a joke. We have been working with others, with recycling companies. That is really important. If you watch some of the PSAs on our local channel, you'll see why it is. So we really don't have any answers on it yet, but we're working on
it. Thank you. Lou. Yes, I'm looking at Joshua. So Joshua, would you answer that question? That's okay. I thought I could.
I believe that we can work on our recycling issues with our business community by partnering with our wonderful regional Chamber of Commerce who also has a pulse of the business community, and see what kind of ways we can work with them to create some kind of campaign, some kind of either social media campaigns or just any type of campaign to let them know that we want them to recycle better and help them out by putting that together.
Thank you. Okay, next question. And this one goes to, this goes to Joshua first. Okay. Would you support giving the citizens of Coral Springs a vote on the new site for the charter school?
I think anytime you have an opportunity to give the citizens the right to vote, and as an elected official, you should always listen to what the community and the people want. I think by giving them the power to vote, I think that would be a great thing to do.
Luke, how about a vote on the charter school?
Yes, I have said this before. That's a big move. It's a big move, and I believe fully that it should be put before the city on a vote, so that the people in the city will have their chance to speak about it.
Okay, thank you. Here's one from the audience. If you believe that climate change is real, would you be showing, the citizens that the city will do its part by installing wind, solar, energy producing materials on the city hall or around the parking lots, city, etc.? What is your feeling about making the city actually be a partner in energy saving? And we will start with Lou.
Speak in the mic.
Huh?
Speak in the mic.
You hear better? You hear better? Would you repeat that again? No,
Sure.
I asked that for a reason.
If you believe that the climate change is real, would you be showing the citizens that the city will do its part by installing wind, solar energy producing materials, devices on the city hall, around the parking lot, etc.? In other words, making the city be energy efficient too.
Absolutely, yes. In fact, it might be a good idea for us to form a committee in the city, and we could talk about that at our next workshop, to start looking into that, start getting that going. Totally agree.
Climate change is absolutely real. I've knocked on more than 4,000 doors, and I can personally attest how hot it is outside. But yeah, no, climate change is real, and I think anytime you have an opportunity to bring in new energy efficient or new green technology to our city, we should. It's 2018. All of our new buildings should be energy efficient, should be green friendly, and I think that's what we should do as a city.
Okay. Next question, Joshua. Traffic in South Florida will continue to get worse if we don't have better planning. So what is your solution for Coral Springs? What can Coral Springs do to improve traffic?
Well, I think what we need to do is continue to have a great relationship with Broward County, continue to work with our Department of Transportation, and demand that they allow us to work on some of these issues within our city. I know that in the previous form of the previous candidates, we talked about sampling university. I think by having more public transportation available within the city, and maybe even partnering with Uber or Lyft or some of these ride-sharing companies to burden the load and allow people to travel a bit easier around the city, those are some things that we should try to pursue.
Thank you. Lou?
Yeah, our traffic problem is not going to get any better right now because we're growing and growing. I remember when the city had this population. Now we're approaching 130,000. I have been complaining. Well, I'm not complaining. I've been bringing to the attention to our local transportation committee. I forget Paul's last name, but there are spots in the city that I'm really concerned about. I'm on the road every day in our city, and there's maybe 14 or 15 locations that we took shots of and we talked about. It's just been an absolute horror how we've gotten to this point. But there's nothing we can do about it except to work on it, by the way, we have to work with Broward County because most of the main roads in the city belong to Broward County.
Thank you. Okay, let's switch back to one of the questions we had before. Citizens recently turned down the 3 bond proposals. So which of those projects should be prioritized and how would you accomplish them? And I'll start with Lou. This is the bond issues, not the
Yeah.
at this answer.
We just hung up here.
No, the leg of the table was.
It's under the wheel.
Oh, okay.
It's rolled under.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go, makes it more comfortable, thank
Still
you.
won't go very far.
Those three bond issues, I was for them. And the reason I was for them is because, one, our city is getting to the time where we're getting old. We need to have some repairs in our city. We need to have some updating in our city. But the one that bothered me the most that went down was the public safety. Again, I have to keep repeating the same thing. We're getting bigger, more people, more problems. And we have been looking into trying to do the things that those three bonds were assigned for, and we're trying to get them worked into our future budgets, so.
So I think the, one of the most important projects that was on the bonds was the updating our infrastructure. That's something that the city has unfortunately not been able to address, and they've been trying and just couldn't find the resources to get that done. I know there was some pushback as far as it would be a slow process or it would be a slow project, and by the time you finish one portion of the city, you'd have to start working back, where you started. So I think that, the infrastructure part was something that we have to address. I think we need to look at the allocations of all of our resources. We have about $85 million budgeted for our general fund, but only about 19 million are going towards capital improvement projects. So we need to look at how what we're funding and where is it going.
I just had a request from the previous mayor who decided I needed to fix that sign. So, excuse me.
Thank you.
The sign was falling down. Okay. Let's see. We have, where to go? Here it is. If Amendment 1 passes, this was addressed before, and I want to get your opinions on this. The estimated impact on Coral Springs is a $3.2 million loss in revenue every year using the current millage rate. So if that passes, how would you deal with this loss? And this one goes to Joshua first.
Well, my upbringing and being the product of a single mother, I've had to watch what it means to make very difficult decisions, having to choose between lights or electricity. I understand that if we lose this potential $3 million from our budget, there are going to be some people that will not be happy with us, whether it's within the city or with you all. If we have to raise those taxes, at every door people are saying, are you going to lower our taxes? I say no. I would lie to you if I said that. What I can say is that we will work to have some kind of dedicated strategy looking forward to make sure that we can account for the potential loss in resources. And so I would say that a lot of people are going to have to feel the squeeze, and if we have to start internally and work our way out, that's what we'll have to do. The goal is never to burden the city with more taxes or more tax increase, but you guys have to ask yourselves, what do you want in this city? Coral Springs is a beautiful city, and we have to work to make sure we keep it that way.
Thank you. Lou?
We've been talking about this since the idea came up. If this passes, it's going to cost us $3.2 to $3.4 billion. We're going to have to make that money up somewhere else. And I think you all know me by now, say it like it is, we're going to have to look at somewhere along the line, raising taxes to do the jobs that we need to do in the city that need to be done, infrastructure, expanding public safety, et cetera, et cetera. So please, when you go out to vote for that, vote no on that one.
Thank you. Here's a question, and Lou, this is for you first. The Coral Springs Center for the Arts is the only facility of its kind west of 95 in 3 counties with its performing arts and art museum together. If the facility becomes a magnet school, what would you do regarding the Museum of Art?
I'm going to have to back off on that one, I'll tell you why. We are looking at this charter school moving and what the ramifications are going to be, and I have not gotten enough information to make a decision on that. Yes, I am concerned about what's going to happen over there, but until we get some more information, I'm going to have to back off and say I can't vote on that until we hear all sides of the, and of course we'll have a public forum on that.
Sure, but do you have any suggestions on what should happen to the museum? Should we have a new museum? Should we?
Well, they came up and it's been recommended, and I have a little mixed emotions about this also. We can move the museum to the new downtown, which means we're gonna have to find some spot big enough in the new downtown to have the museum. That sounds pretty good, but we wanna look at it.
Okay, thank you. Joshua, do you have an opinion?
I believe that we have a wonderful arts museum and many different exhibits come throughout the year. I had an opportunity to visit with the monks when they came during the summer. If the charter school is put there and they want to make it a magnet school, I say why not leave the arts museum where it's at and let the kids be able to, have some kind of programs with them as well to kind of further enhance visitation and visibility of the arts museum.
Okay. Now, this is another question on the charter schools, a little different take on it. The city wants to return the property where the charter school now exists to the tax rolls, with the money from the sale of this property going to build a new charter school on the city property. With the city's infrastructure in need of repairs and funds lacking that should be reconsidered, do you think there is a better use for the funds that might be accrued after we move the charter school, assuming maybe it can move?
I think I've already said at this point, one of the most critical issues is our infrastructure. I think some of that money should be used towards our infrastructure. I think that anytime we have an opportunity to spread the money around, we should. It shouldn't all just go into one single project. We need to spread it around.
First of all, the new charter school, if we do, when we move it to whatever spot it's gonna be, will be paid for, I believe, by the charter school. So that will not be coming out of that money will not be coming from us to us. The property where it is now, this is the one that we have to get back on the tax rolls, because this is gonna help us keep our taxes down. There is a lot of potential there for business taxes to come in. So I don't see where that's a problem.
Okay, all right. That's what we need, is some opinions. Okay. The next question is, there was a preemption, I wrote it here. Yes, what suggestions do you have to counter the many preemption attacks on local control by the state legislature? Is there anything that the city can do to prevent those attacks on the city, taking away our local control? And I think I'm gonna let Joshua take that first.
I think Lou had the last one first.
You think he had the last one?
I'm sorry, I had the last one first.
You had? Yeah. Yes, you're right. You're right. Cross my number.
Where's Dan Daly when you need him? We have been talking about, I guess this would come under home rule, am I right?
Yes.
All we could continue to do as a city is to keep putting the pressure on the legislation, because this is where the problems begin. And I don't want to sound down on Tallahassee, but most of our problems are coming from Tallahassee. So we want to just stay in a position where we can put a lot of pressure on the state legislature to make sure that we control our city and not them.
Thank you. Joshua.
In particular, I have a problem with the preemption that's coming down from Tallahassee. If you are elected to represent your people, that's what you have to do. And I am a bit more aggressive. After the incident at Douglas, and as a public school teacher, I was greatly concerned that I went before the commission and I simply said that segregation was legal. But you have a duty as an American citizen to fight against unjust laws that will harm our residents or our communities. And so someone like me in this position, yes, I understand that, legally that I could accrue some trouble, I could go to jail, I could be fined, I could be removed from office. I don't care about any of that. At the end of the day, I'm here to work for you. And if I am not letting your voices be heard, then I am not doing my job and I don't deserve that seat anyway.
Thank you. And now we come to closing statements. And we begin with Lou.
When I got elected the first time, I ran on 3 or 4 different things that I find really important. I just want to continue those, and I'm just going to mention them to you. Investing in our city. we want to make sure that we keep doing the things that we're doing, and I think we've done one great job the last 4 years, this commission, to bring in new businesses and so forth and so on. By the way, the corporate park. When I first got elected, we had some problems with corporate park. We're trying to help them, and I guess we weren't getting our thoughts back and forth. So I decided to talk to staff and find out why they were having trouble with the owners of corporate park. Then I talked to the owners of corporate park to find out why they were having trouble with our staff. And it was no big deal. We just couldn't reach some agreements. So I decided, which we all have the right to do, all commissioners have the right to go to all committee meetings. And I went in, I sat before the economic development. I'm stopped.
That's a stop, yeah.
All right.
Keep going.
Oh.
Give it another 10 seconds.
Oh, I gotta take it? But here was an example of how you get involved. While I was at that meeting, the one guy that has been thorn in my side for like months about corporate park, he kept smiling at that meeting. He was sitting there, one of the owners. And after the meeting, I went over and I said to him, "Why are you smiling?" He said, "Because you're the first city commissioner that took the time to come out and listen to our problems." And that's the kind of work that I try to do.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you.
If you want a commissioner that is going to stand up for you every single day, I am your candidate. If you want a commissioner who is not afraid to say no or afraid to push against his colleagues, I am your candidate. If you want a commissioner who cares about this city so deeply that he spends his time every day after teaching all day to go out into the community and hear voices and concerns, I am your candidate. If you want to help this city continue to move forward and embrace progress and embrace modernization, I am your candidate. If you want someone who you can sit down and just have a normal conversation with, I am your candidate. If you want someone that you just want to scream at, and I won't get upset, and I will sit down and talk with you, I am your candidate.
And they will.
And I'll take it. My name is Joshua Simmons. This is the first time I've ran for office, and I did this purely out of love for everyone sitting in this room and everyone sitting at home right now. I hope that I have your vote on November 6th, and I know together we can all move this city a new way forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Lou.